Hi, welcome to Auntie Nat's Crochet. Today I'm going to make a handphone bag, or you can call it a pouch or a purse, and I'm going to make it into two compartments where one part of it you can actually place your handphone, and the other part you can actually put your cards or your passport. So this time round I'm using nylon, and I'm using several colors because I'm going to do star stitch. So what I need to do is just to make a rectangle star stitch piece, and later fold it into two and again into two and make it into two compartments and sew the sides, and that's it. That will be the handphone bag or the pouch. So for this nylon yarn, I'm going to use 4mm hook. You can actually use 5 or 6 as well. So let's get started. Okay, now I'm gonna start with the lighter color and go darker color as when I go along. So now I'm gonna make the foundation chain for the star stitch. So this star stitch I need to do in a multiple of 2 plus 1. So first we're gonna make a knot. You can either use your finger to pull up a knot, or you can just use your hook to pull up a knot, whichever way you feel comfortable with. This is another way. That's a knot. So after this knot, I'm going to do a foundation chain. So how long will this foundation chain be? I'm gonna measure it against my handphone. So this would be the length, not the width. This will be the length, and from the length we're gonna work upwards. So I'll come back to you once I have the length, and make sure it's in a multiple of 2. So you might see the hole is kind of big here, but no worry. Once you continue to crochet, it's okay. It will not be like this anymore. So now foundation chain, measure it against your phone or whatever you plan to put in. You can even make it bigger for an iPad bag or a laptop bag. It's the same way. And make sure it is in a multiple of 2. Okay, you make sure this foundation chain is not exactly the length of your handphone. Give it a little bit more space, because at the side we're gonna seal it, so it kind of like it will be hard to put your handphone in if you have it just nicely. So at least you have a little bit more space than your handphone. Then at least when we seal here will be a bit tight. So at least your handphone will be in the middle. So you just give it some space. So let's say if your handphone is like what, 3, you give it like another 5 more stitches or 6 more stitches, depending what hook you're using and what kind of yarn you're using. You can actually use cotton yarn if you do not want to use nylon yarn. So now I'm going to start to do the star stitch. I'm going to do it on the bum side. After you crochet, you will see all this kind of V shape in front, and when you turn to the back, you will see all this bum side. So I'm going to work on the bum side. So you go to the second stitch from your hook. This is your first, this is your second stitch from the hook. I start to pull up a loop. You put through the bum side, pull up a loop and leave it on your hook. So the next bum side, same thing, and go on with the next one until you have six yarn on your hook. So now I have 5 and go to the 6th. So now I have six yarn on my hook, 2, 4, 6. So now I'm going to put through all. So you put through all, you chain 1. So after chain 1, here, this is the corner, this is your first star stitch. So now we go back to the middle here, where we call this the eye of the star. You go back to the eye, you pull up a loop, you go to this strand here, there's 2, this is the foundation chain part and this is the one at the star. We take the one that is on the star, pull up a loop, and now we go back to the foundation chain, the same foundation chain that we make the star, the last foundation chain. We pull up another loop, and the next 2 loop we're going to pull up from the foundation chain. So there we have 6 yarn on your hook again. You put through all, and you chain 1, and that's your second star. So same thing, let me show you again. You go to the eye here, the middle part here, this eye. You go to the chain, the star chain. The next one, we go to the foundation chain, the same foundation chain that we used for the last stitch on the star, and then 2 more on the foundation chain. So all in, you're gonna have 6. So you're going to continue with this until the end of the row. So this one we're going to do through and fro. We're going to make it into a rectangle piece and fold it to form a purse or a bag. So once you have this first row, make sure you measure it against your pouch or your handphone to see if you can actually place a handphone inside, or your iPad or whatever. So this we're going to curve up. So we're going to do this until the end of the row. Okay, I have 2 more loops left. So actually it's just a multiple of 2, there's no +1 in my case here, because once I +1 I will have an extra here. So it's just multiple of 2. So now the last star, I'm going to do the same. So at least I have 2 more, the last 2 bump. So after this, do a half double crochet into this, the foundation chain. That's how you end it. And there it is. Okay, now for the next row, you chain 1, turn your work. In this chain 1 space here, do 1 single crochet. And do 1 more in the eye. This is the eye of the previous star. Okay, so that here will be straight. And now in the eye, every eye, do 2 single crochet. 2 single crochet into the eye, so you will form a complete star. And repeat the same until the end of the row. Okay, the last eye here, I'm gonna do single crochet, 2 single crochet actually. And after the 2 single crochet, we do 1 more single crochet on this last part here, this edge here. So this complete our row 2. So now we go to row 3. Row 3 we chain 2, turn the work, second chain from the hook, this one, you will see actually you have a front loop and a back loop. So we're gonna pull up a yarn from the front loop, and we're also going to pull up a yarn from the back loop. One from the front loop, one from the back loop, and now one from the same stitch. Oops, it got too tight just now. That's the problem with nylon yarn. Okay, so you now have 4. Then we go to the next one and the next one. So by the time you have 6 loops on your hook, you should reach the eye here, the previous eye from the previous star, and you yarn over all, you chain 1, and you created your first star here. So after this first star, we continue to create the star. We go to the eye, and go back to the side here, and also on the same loop, and 2 more from this row, from the previous row, and always you will end up at the eye of the previous star. So this eye reach this eye. So here you have 6, you yarn over all, and you continue just like what we did in row 1, and after row 1 you continue like what we did in row 2, and you continue to do until the length that you want. You can change color in halfway or midway or after a few rows, up to you, or you can do it in the same color for the whole thing. So you just make sure you do not do extra. If you have 18 stars on the first row, you make sure you have 18 stars on the next subsequent rows. So I'll come back to you once I'm at the length that I want. Okay, this is how it looks like so far. You make sure you have a straight edge here, and you also make sure the number of stars on the first row or every row should be the same. So like for my case here, I have 18 stars on the first row, so every row I make sure I have 18 stars. You count like the eyes here, the eye, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So sometimes when you turn over, when you do the 2 single crochet into the eye, you might miss a spot, or maybe you might miss a stitch. Instead of 2 single crochet, you might accidentally did 1 single crochet, and so by the time you turn over to do the star, your gap is different and you will end up with less star or maybe more star. So you will find that your edge is not straight. It will like go in a bit or out. So it's best that you count the number of stars at every row instead of doing it in a long rectangle and realize that it's not a straight edge. So now I'm gonna change color. It's optional, you can just do the same color until the very end. So I'm going to change color. So here, instead of yarn over the pink, I'm gonna yarn over a darker pink. I already make a loop here. And pull on the light pink as well. So like the previous few rows, I will just chain 2 and then you continue and you will have a darker color. So you can actually hide the tail as we move along, hide a bit, hide for maybe 1 or 2 stars away, and you should do this. So here 2, 4, 6. Oops. Okay, and then chain 1, and then we have 1 star here, and make sure this one we pull tight so that there's no loop here. So here we continue to make another star, and at the same time hide this yarn inside here. So now I'm gonna cut the light pink. So at the end you can actually use a lighter, so long you use fire to burn it, it will kind of melt. So here it will melt and it will stick to the back. So I'll continue first until the tail is just a tiny small tail, and I'll burn it to melt it. Okay, I'm gonna burn this edge here. You see, you go near the fire, it will kind of melt. So once it melts, it will stick. See, once it melts, it will stick onto the back. See, I got rid of the black burnt place. So this part I only melt it and get rid of the black part, and now it kind of melted here and it sticks here. So here, one glance, there's no edge, I mean no tail, because this is not like cotton yarn where you can hide it along. This is kind of a bit tough, so it's best that you melt it and you continue with the pattern, and you will not be able to see where's the starting and the ending. Actually, this is the spot. So make sure this is at the back and not the front, so that in case if you did not melt it properly, it would not show so much, it just show at the back. So I'll continue with this color. Maybe I will change another color. I want 3 colors. That is from light pink, pink to a darker pink. And then I'll come back to you and show you the length and how I'm gonna fold it. Okay, so this is how it looked like so far. The 3 shades of pink, lighter pink, pink and darker pink. So each sets of colors I have 9 rows of star stitch. So it depends whether you're gonna use this bag to put money or cards or your handphone. So the width and the length is really up to you, and the number of stars is really up to you. Mine is for handphone and passport. So I have 9 rows of each color. So I'm gonna fold this. This is the front, and this is the back. Make sure you know which is the front and which is the back. The front look like this, and this is the back, and this is the front. So the front part here, I'm gonna fold it in like this, and here I'm gonna fold it again. So it looks like my wallet has two colors here and a different color over this side. So you can choose to rotate it anytime. You can just show this one to the front, or you can show this as the front. And here I'm going to add a magnetic button here. This button comes with this, I do not have to sew it, I just have to bend it and lock it here. So I'm going to put one here and one here, and make sure it's in the correct space, if not it will not lock. Okay, and after I attach this, I will sew the sides here. So in the meantime, because due to the stitches, some of it it's a bit it's crooked a bit, because some of it the stitches I did a bit tight, and maybe some of it not that tight. So once I stitch the side, it will go correct, in the correct space. See, as at now you can see it's kind of like crooked. It's like here more and here less. But if you count the number of stars, I do have the same number of stars every row. It's just that it will go a little bit crooked, but when you attach it, that's why you make sure you add a marker here to remind yourself where is that middle row. So this is the middle row that I'm not going to touch, so I make sure here joins here, and make sure it joins properly so that this one will go in line. So we're going to fold this line. So once you stitch up here, the same goes for here. Because of the number of stitches, some of it is a bit too loose. See, it got a bit, it's the same number of stitches, just that some of it may be too loose or too tight. So once you crochet, it will go back into like this. It will not be crooked. So now let me add the button before I start to sew up the sides. Okay, I've secured the magnetic button here. So before I seal the sides here, I'm gonna make a I-cord with a different color, a slightly different color. So the I-cord is going to go through here, from here it will join here. So it's from here join to over this side. So it's one here and one here, so that when you sling it onto your shoulder or your body, you can either have it facing the lighter pink or the darker pink. Because if I'm gonna make one here, or you're gonna make two, it'll be a bit complicated. So I'm gonna make one from here until here, a longer one, so that when you strap it on onto your body, you can still open your handphone bag and remove your handphone or your passport or your cards or your tissues. Okay, so before I join, I'll make sure I join the I-cord here and tie it neatly here, because once I join the sides, it'll be difficult to work inside here. So it's best I make the I-cord first, join it properly here, and one more here, then I'll seal the side, and it will become a proper handphone pouch. Okay, now I'm gonna make the I-cord. I'll leave some tail here to sew it onto the pouch. Okay, make a knot. So once you have a knot, you chain 3 So after you chain 3, the second chain from the hook, 1 2 3, second chain from the hook, pull up a loop, and the last one, pull up another loop. So now you have 3 loops on your hook. Remove the other 2, hold tight, yarn over the first one, put through the second one, yarn over, and put through the third one, and yarn over. So you're gonna have something like this. So same thing, remove your hook, yarn over, go through the second one, yarn over, and go through the third one, and yarn over. In the end you will have a cord like this. So you continue until the length that you want. So let me show you again. Remove the other 2, yarn over, oops, it came off. So you're gonna have to hold tight to it. Okay, let's do that again. Make sure I hold tight to this 2. Yarn over, put through the second one, yarn over, put through the third one, then you yarn over. So you're gonna look like this. So now the tricky part is to hold on tight to it. So when you remove the other 2, let this finger help you. Pull one yarn over, pull another over, and another over. And soon you're gonna have a cord like this. It will not look as like the cotton yarn because this is nylon yarn. But anyway, I'll show you once I'm at the end and see how the whole cord look like. Okay, so this is how the cord look like. I got to the length that I want. And so now, the final part here, I'm just gonna yarn over all, chain 1 and lock it. I'm gonna cut the yarn. I'm gonna leave a long tail to sew it onto the back. I've changed my mind. I've did 2 magnetic button here. It's more secure because when there's one, it kind of dangling here. So now I have 2, one on the left and one on the right. So before I seal the side here, I'm going to sew this, one on the left, one on this side, and one on this side. So it's gonna look like this. And you can still open it. So let me, since I have not sealed the sides, so it's easier to sew it now than after I have sealed, which should be more troublesome. So it's best that I seal it now, and then I can go through a few more rounds to make sure it is very secure Just go through it a few rounds. Make sure you go through those the eyes, or the part where it's easier for the needle to go through. Then you make sure you just put it through all these loops and make a few more rounds, so that when you hold it, you make sure it's very secure. So I'll come back to you once I have had it nicely secured here, and I'll show you the sides. Okay, I have this secured, one on this side and one on this side. So you're gonna look like this, one on this side and one on this side. And now I'm gonna do single crochet all around before I join it. So I'm gonna use this color, the color of the icon. You can start just about anywhere. You can even start from the corner here. So every corner do 2 single crochet. So do 2 single crochet in this corner and hide the tail as well, and do single crochet all around. I'm gonna do from here all the way and back here. Then we connect the sides. Okay, I have part of it connected. I've connected here. I did single crochet all around. And I've connected here. It might look a little bit crooked at first, but if you do a bit of a pulling and stretching here and there, it should be, you go back to that pattern. Okay, so this should be the other side. So I'll just show you one part of it, how I connect this and this. You just make sure this is the spot that you want, or whether should it be another stitch away. And you make sure everything is in order. Okay, now you just grab a yarn, okay, what I do is I go through both loops, all 4 of it, and I do a slip stitch. And the next one, let's hide this tail inside. And go to the next stitch, pull out a yarn and do a slip stitch. But you just have to make sure this is the right spot. There'll be a small gap here so that we can fold. A small gap here, or you can make it a bigger gap if you want. So long your phone can go in and your passport can go in. Oops, I should take all 4 loops. Let's hide the tail. Let's hide some of the tail. Okay, it's hidden inside. Oops. I'm gonna seal like this all the way. the last stitch, you do a single crochet, no, I mean chain 1, and you pull tight to make a knot here, and you cut the yarn, you get a needle and bring the yarn to the inside of the back. You can actually fold this over, you can fold it over, oops, and you can hide the yarn inside. You can tie a knot with the previous tail. That's another tail here. So this is how the bag look like. A simple bag for your handphone and your passport or your tissue. So here you will have 2 colors. You can stretch it around, you can pull it a bit to make the shape even. But once you put your handphone, it will even out. Okay, so this is the strap. So you can choose whether you want the darker color to face the front or you want the lighter color to face the front. So at least you have 2 colors to choose from. So this is how the purse will look like, or the pouch. So thank you for watching. I hope you like this pattern. Do subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in my next post.